All right, moving on to politics now. New conflicts erupting within the government as the Islamist Ram party protesting against their coalition partners and allowing opposition lawmakers to advance their bills unopposed. With the analysis is columnist for Newsweek and editor of HistoryCentral.com, Marc Schulman. Marc, it's great to have you back with us. Now, this protest, so to speak, is beginning after Ram's bills were tabled and the controversial citizenship law was renewed. But are Ram's proposals really being held back? It seems like this could just be how political negotiations work, no?
I think very much so. I think very much is being made out of it. It really isn't a lot here. Yes, they allowed some opposition bills to advance. Some of those bills were pretty good, actually. I actually like some of the bills that they advanced. Things, for instance, that debt collectors can't add additional interest charges or things like that. And there were no bills there that were particularly problematic. They were just private bills that were advanced. Mm-hmm. Look, there's always going to be negotiations. Remember what Ram said. Ram said, we're going to learn from the Israeli religious parties, and we're going to use our influence and our ability to get our ways. And that's what they're doing. In the same way the religious parties did it for things that interested them, Ram is trying to do it for some of the things that interest their people. Particularly one of the issues that they want to advance had to do with tax benefits to some of the Bedouin unincorporated villages in the South. I mean, that's straight out, pork barrel politics, straight out of the Shas playbook or the Degel Torah playbook. They're doing the same thing. This will all be resolved. None of these things were crucial. The votes that took place in the Knesset, nothing was crucial that was advanced by the opposition. The coalition put off some of their votes, nothing really essential taking place. This is going to happen throughout the life of this government. It'll happen with any government which is dependent on one party in order to have a majority. And so we can expect it. This is politics as normal as far as I'm concerned.
All right. So, I mean, because a lot of people would look at this as a fissure in the government, between these wildly different ideologies. Could it be that this is, the beginning of a downward trend where more and more disagreements, more and more, petty politics, for lack of a better word, start creeping in and dividing the coalition?
Look, I think we've said this comment before in the last 7 months. Every time there's a disagreement, it's the beginning of the end. It's the beginning of a fissure. There will be fissures all the way through. But they passed the budget. This government isn't going to fall apart. The same reasons that the government exists now, it will probably exist when Yair Lapid takes over in another year and a half. This government will stay together because it's in the interest of all the parties in the government not to have elections, because none of them know what will take place when elections happen. Neither Gideon Saar's party nor Naftali Bennett's party are sure they'll even pass the minimum needed to stay in the Knesset. Yair Lapid certainly doesn't want new elections because he wants his turn as prime minister. So everyone's going to stay in. They'll, every time they can, they'll flex their muscles. Everyone will push in a different direction. And look, it's a very difficult government in terms of ideology. There are differences between them, and certainly things like the citizenship bill bring that to the forefront. But it's in everybody's interest, and people vote ultimately for their interests. And, other than, peace breaking out, I don't see anything happening that's going to break apart this government in the near term.
All right, so I want to go back now to the three opposition bills that advanced under Ram's protest. One is a mandate for public sector companies to transfer seniors to human representatives when they call automated hotlines. The second, as you mentioned, is a bill that would prevent debt collectors from charging interest on accumulated debts. And finally, the third is a tax grant benefits to those working from home. Is any of that really that bad to begin with? Maybe Ram was using these particular bills for their protest, and leveraging the timing of these bills because maybe even they support them to a degree.
I support all three bills. I can see nothing wrong with any of these bills. It might not have been in the agenda. It might not have been a priority of the government to pass them. There could be arguments made by the Treasury or something against them.
Do you think that the government will oppose them? Do you think that the government will oppose them?
They would have probably. Look, the way the Knesset is set up right now, there's automatic opposition to anything the opposition puts forth, and the opposition automatically opposes anything the government puts forth. No one is voting on the substance of any bill whatsoever right now in the Knesset, which is a shame. Right. It's one of the problems with the Israeli system that everyone has to vote because it's opposition or it's coalition. You got to vote one way or another. All those bills are good bills. I think we all support them. There's no reason not to support them. But the government doesn't want hopscotch, bills passed that they want to do it in a sort of orderly way. The Treasury wants to leave it upon itself to make all the reforms, once a year with the economic reforms. So the government automatically opposes it. But no, listen, they're good bills.
Right.
I can think of a lot of other nice little bills that could pass, right? No question about it.
Marc Schulman, thank you so much as always for joining us.
My pleasure.